Grigg comes to us today from Payette, Idaho, where he resides with his wife, Corin, and their 6 children. He is a respected author, editor, and political commentator. Among Mr. Grigg's many accomplishments, he has worked as a senior editor for the New American magazine. He currently publishes the Pro Libertate blog, which you can find online at freedominourtime.blogspot.com. He is the managing editor for the Republic magazine, and you can find that online as well at republicmagazine.com. He has authored 5 books, the most recent being titled Liberty in Eclipse, The War on Terror and the Rise of the Homeland Security State. Please join me in welcoming our next presenter, Mr. Will Grigg.
Thank you. The country we love is under the rule of an elected dictator who recognizes no limits on his power to regiment our lives, plunder our wealth, and imprison or even kill anyone of his choosing. 3 Republican candidates seek to replace him not because they object to this tyrannical accumulation of power, but because they covet it for themselves. Only one Republican contender seeks the office because he is committed to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States, and in a few minutes we will be privileged to hear from him. A familiar classic rock tune informs us everybody wants to rule the world. The people who wrote that song obviously were not acquainted with Dr. Ron Paul. Unique among contemporary political figures, Dr. Paul has no desire to rule anybody, but rather to restore the rule of law that is indispensable to the protection of individual liberty. For every other candidate seeking the presidency, all human progress begins with the bureaucrat and the armed enforcer who implements that bureaucrat's decrees. Ron Paul understands that all progress begins with the free individual, who is the owner of his life and deserves the individual deserves to keep everything he has earned. Everything he has earned. Dr. Paul likewise understands that while the right of armed self-defense is indispensable, no government ever improved a person's life by pointing guns at him. For decades, he has courageously opposed the untethered madness of drug prohibition and every other front of the government's ever-escalating war against the Bill of Rights. He does this not because drug addiction is harmless, it isn't, but because there is no deadlier narcotic than power. And government has no authority to dictate what people freely choose to consume. The same government that conjures new powers out of the ether colludes with a quasi-private criminal syndicate called the Federal Reserve to debase the currency in order to fund its grandiose designs. And for decades, Dr. Paul, often alone, has worked to expose the crimes of that officially licensed counterfeiting ring and its role in making debt slaves out of us and our children. And he has waged an unrelenting campaign to end the reign of terror conducted by the world's most notorious 3-letter secret police agency, the IRS. Alone among Republican contenders, Dr. Paul seeks to restore a foreign policy compatible with that of Washington, Jefferson, and John Quincy Adams. He alone is committed to the actual defense of our country, rather than perpetual military entanglements in the affairs of other countries that do nothing to protect our freedom. Were the framers of our Constitution to interview the current crop of presidential hopefuls, it would immediately become clear that Dr. Paul is the only one with whom they could have an intelligent conversation. That is because the language of liberty is his native tongue, not some unfamiliar dialect from which he borrows an occasional phrase for use during election campaigns. The most important qualification for the presidency is an understanding of the Constitution and the character to preserve, protect, and defend it. Dr. Paul's rivals for the nomination recognize those qualities in him, which is why during debates they habitually defer to his insights whenever constitutional questions are being addressed. And this is why Dr. Paul is the only candidate who, if elected, could take the oath of office without committing an act of public perjury. We who are blessed to live in Idaho have been given a rare opportunity to cast a consequential vote on behalf of peace, prosperity, and individual liberty in next month's caucuses. Please don't let that opportunity be wasted. Shakespeare wrote, "There is a tide in the affairs of men which taken at the flood leads to fortune, and we must take the current when it serves or lose our ventures." Dr. Paul has helped summon a wave of peaceful, principled rebellion against a government that has long since slipped the chains of the Constitution. Regardless of what happens at the ballot box this November, that wave will continue to grow. But it can, and it must carry this uniquely qualified and decent man to the Oval Office. If God is unusually generous, and the American people are wiser than we've recently been, my friends and my fellow Idahoans, I give you the next President of the United States, Dr. Ron Paul.